Welcome again, Aries. It's Dadhichi here, and it's September 2017. Take a look here at your horoscope. We've started using this format because I got such a good response from everyone that I think they'd like the idea of seeing the horoscope while I talk about what's going on. And right now, this month is on the heels of that very powerful Great American Eclipse, and that is still going to be activating this part of your horoscope, the fifth house, which has to do with your love affairs, your creativity. And we see Venus is also now part of this, which is ruler of your seventh house, Libra, having a direct connection here with the fifth house. So an amorous sort of month. And here we can also see this very nice triangular combination of Saturn, Uranus, and Mercury, Mars, which is what we call a grand trine in Western astrology, bringing with it, well, it's interesting because we've got this conservative aspect here, Saturn, along with this rather non-conservative aspect of Uranus, implicated in this grand trine. Both of these work equally well. I suspect that this means your rather progressive attitudes in relationships will be tempered by Saturn there in this full grand triangle, full grand trine as we call it. Also we see Uranus over here has an agent, or the old ruler, which is called the North Node, which is also involved in this love, we could call it a love triangle maybe. I'm not going to call it a love triangle. That's an astrological thing. We don't want you getting sort of into trouble there, but we see the similar sort of progressive elements shown by this Uranus here in the North Node, what we call Rahu. So there's going to be some unexpected elements in your relationships this month. And we can see here, if I take you over here to the, I don't know whether you can see this, Mercury on the 20th of September in the opposition aspect to Neptune here. It's going to be over here after it moves into Virgo on September 10. It's going to move around here and it's going to create a little bit of confusion. So it's best prior to that date to take a little bit of time to think about what you want in your relationships and not jump forward in an impulsive sort of manner, which is what this does. As benign as the aspect is, Uranus and Mercury are notorious for, scatty thinking, and we see here also that Mercury is still retrograde. So when anything is commenced under the retrogression of Mercury, especially if it's not a particularly favourable planet, here we see Mercury is ruling your sixth house, here, Virgo, albeit right on the last degree, it is moving backwards, and will not go direct until, after the first week of September. So you need to be careful in the first few days of the month making any decisions associated with your relationships. Now, I want to jump up here to the commencement of the month, and we can see here that if we animate this, which I will do right now, let me just get rid of some of this stuff. Sorry, I've got too many things opened here, which make life a little bit difficult. There are other charts here, such as the life of an astrologer. Let's bring that back over here. And we can see here that thereabouts on the second, straight away you're going to have a very intense sort of conjunction of the Moon and Pluto in your 10th house of career. So this is going to bring with it maybe, as we've been seeing in the last couple of years, every month this Moon swings around here and is in conjunction with this planet. And you do still have that very powerful square from Jupiter to Pluto, indicating manipulation, problems with employers, and also, in some cases, what we refer to as a force majeure, things that are out of your control in your workplace, making life a little bit difficult for you. If we continue that, we'll see that there is a movement there on the 4th and 5th into the 11th house, where it moves into conjunction with the South Node. This is a place of friendships that's going to bring you in contact with people you haven't been with in a while. And look here though, you've also got this opposition to this 5th house, so a lot of tension building up around this date on the 4th. Let's go past that, and we'll see that around the 5th moves into 5th and 6th moves into this 12th house next to Neptune and in the full moon phase. So this has to do with your 4th house of family and domestics here in this 12th house of retreat and quiet sort of activities. So this is a quiet period in your life. If we go forward there, I'm going to move this forward quickly. We see the close conjunction there building up after the 24th, September 9, with Uranus. That could trigger again these aspects in the relationship that we talked about again. A lot of triangular aspects. You've got to be careful of that as well, even though they're considered benign. They are the sort of aspects that make you a little bit lazy, and you don't want that in relationships because you'll be accused of not working hard enough, won't you? So again, the new moon is the next important thing. A few other aspects here, financial aspects that have just occurred here around the 11th and 12th, the square aspect here to the debt house, so you'll be spending a lot of money, whatever comes in. You can see here the 11th house, debts from your past to the 6th house are going to cause a bit of a problem for you. It's the new moon that's going to take place much later in the month. You can see here as we swing around, 4th house there as it moves in Cancer, family affairs. This is the 5th house, which is your love affairs again triggered, but it's this new moon that we're going to see taking place here just around the 20th, 21st. Well, actually, it'll be a little bit later than that. Around the, well, there it is, the 20th, 21st, as it moves just into conjunction here. And then the end of the month here, we're seeing the movement into your 7th house of relationships again. Some lovely opportunities when it moves into conjunction here with Jupiter. These are great for business, great for dealing with your lover and your partner. So, and then some banking issues when it moves into the 8th house here on the 23rd, 24th of September. Journeys here as it moves into the 9th house. And this is important. We should take a look at this as being a pertinent aspect, 9th house of journeys. But when it's in conjunction with Saturn, as we see here, the last few days of the month may be a little bit draining for you, especially emotionally. And again, it moves back into your 10th house of career, so you're going to see a return of that just as the month finishes with the very final phase of the 30th associated with your social and friendships level. Take care. Don't forget, join me at astrology.com.au to get the textual version of this and also some of the daily readings and lots of other stuff. See you next month. Take care now. Bye-bye.